Welcome to Creative Perspectives. Today I will be discussing the power of forgiveness. I am going to talk about a couple of Bible verses. Okay, my first one is Romans 12:17, which states, "Repay no one evil for evil, but give thought to do what is honorable in the sight of all." Think about that for a moment. Repay no one evil for evil. Pretty much do what's honorable in the sight of all. So whenever you're dealing with any type of conflicts in life, understand life is not going to be as simple as you in your private thoughts might think it should be. And sometimes you could be setting yourself up for failure with that belief structure, because life can be easy for the most part if you do what's right in life. But no matter how easy it may be, you're still going to have challenges. And when you have challenges, that is the time where forgiveness may come into play. We experience that with family members. We experience that with friends, with fake friends. Like sometimes people are great with you, but if you exceed them in any way, shape, or form, then things change. The dynamics of that friendship change to where it's almost like you're cast out of that group because your life is no longer identical to the people you once had investments in. So now you're being guided to go towards new opportunities, okay? But one thing that's never talked about is when we go through those transitions of growth, we may have to, I got my salsa music on. Sorry, Pandora's on in the back. Hold on, let me go get Pandora and turn that off so you wouldn't have to hear that. Let me finish my point though so I don't lose it. But anyway, we have moments where there's a transition between the old life we had and then the new life that we're creating. And sometimes people get bitter because you're like, oh, well, why are people not there with me and for me like they used to be? Well, you have to examine that and then understand, everybody has a different walk and life path. And some people are not ready to excel to the next level. So when you get ready to excel, you have to understand it's not a personal issue. It's more about growth and development. And when you're ready to grow and develop, and if the rest of your group is not ready to grow and develop, then you might hit that pitfall of thinking, having thoughts that may create bitterness or may create hate towards them, or it may make you feel saddened by the change in the dynamics of how you're being treated. But what you need to understand is don't take it personal. When you start taking things personal, you will internalize it, and then the growth and developing that you're designed to do, you won't be able to do that because you'll be stuck. Am I not recording? Oh, shit. Sorry about that. You will be stuck in the thought process of believing that the people who loved you and adored you at some point no longer have that same perspective. And that's not true. What it is when we grow, everybody else is not ready to grow with you, and it's not designed for them to grow with you. So you have to be prepared to grow on your own. And along the way, if you pay close attentions to the lessons and the blessings that have gone on in your life, because remember, our entire life is about lessons and blessings, learning and evolving, you have the right tools to be able to actually walk and stand on your own. Now, in most cases, you don't have to walk and stand on your own. there will be people in your life that will show up to help you in that part of your journey. Where people make mistakes is, one day I heard Pastor T.D. Jakes make this comment about trees, you know, and when he separated the root from the branch, from the leaf. Okay, so I'm going to try to use that same metaphor. Pretty much. Some people are not there, and you should never ever make yourself confused or overindulge in the idea that some people are there to stay in your life. You know, some people are roots where they will stay for the rest of your life. They're going to be long-term in your life. Some could stay maybe 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, and they are designed to do that. Then you have the branches. Those will stay there for maybe a few years, and then it's time for them to go. Their journey and their walk in your life is done. And then you have your leaves, and those are seasonal people. So it's the same thing. When you get ready to grow, each stage of your growth, you're going to have to go through that transition. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be prepared to let people go. And once you have mastered that, you won't have to worry about the power of trying to forgive people, because sometimes our wounding comes from our own ideas about what we think and how we think a circumstance should play out. And when we remove that and start pretty much basing things on facts versus our own perception and opinions, then that's it. So if somebody is there to stay, they will show you through action that, hey, I am staying with this, you know, with you on the next step of your journey. You can even get that when you're dealing with a spouse. A spouse can be all for you when you guys are in the same playing field, but just like a friend, just like a family member, they could change and switch up on you when you try to accelerate or change the dynamics that they have grown accustomed to. So if you didn't have a business, you plan to start a business, but then you got married to someone who's not good with finance, they don't believe in business, they have no goals, they have no dreams. Well, when you start to develop your own ideas and your own goals, sometimes that person can change and evolve with you, and sometimes they can't. So what ends up happening is, you know, you might have to come to make a decision, you know, about either letting that person go, or if they're going to get on board, and then you guys stay and remain as a team, especially when you're married. Now I remember when I was married, I had my business, but then he started his own business, and then it's like the competitiveness versus the love that should have been there. But I had to forgive. There was a lot of other issues in that, but I'm just trying to stick with forgiveness. I'll have plenty of time to disclose things in my life to help you understand that I'm not just blowing smoke, you know, and I do know what I'm talking about. So anyway, but right now it's not that time. But anyway, you have to be able to exercise forgiveness. And also just remember, forgiveness does not mean that you keep people in your life. You know, outside of your growth and development part of your journey and to discover and uncover your purpose in life, you're also going to have to forgive people for other things. You know, somebody may have wronged you. You may have learned that someone said something behind your back. You may have learned that people have been talking about you or something like that. But in order to not carry those burdens, you must maintain the foundation of forgiveness. And forgiveness doesn't mean that you keep bitterness. It doesn't mean that you hold on to that, because that means you haven't forgiven them. You're still stuck. So in order to get unstuck, say a prayer. And one thing that I've learned in my life is praying for your enemies puts you in a much stronger position. You can have people that you've dated, you got people that you fell in love with, and maybe they have changed who they are, or maybe you learn, you know, how they kind of feel underneath the surface about you. And you may have to forgive them, because some people, it's weird, sometimes the qualities that people claim they love about you are the same ones that they want to sabotage in you. So you have to be careful of the people that you entertain in the first place, and then it will save you a lot of pain in the long run. So, and the way you could identify that is, like, say if you're going to be a scientist, okay, and nobody else has a science mind that's around you, that